Good morning. Okay, I'm back. Let's do the Polyline tool and set up the various levels for our theater space. Um, for me, rule number one is going to be that the 0 level, the layer plane, is always going to be the stage deck. Okay, so the deck is always 0. If you go over and look at your um, adorable section view, you'll see that in this particular space, you have the stage deck, and then you have a little drop off here, and a moat, and that is leading into audience seating. This is all audience seating out here. So what we'll do when we draft this is we'll create that stage deck, we'll extrude it down, so we'll extrude it in a minus direction from 0, so that 0 becomes the stage floor, and then minus whatever this distance is will give us that piece of the puzzle, okay? So let me grab a quick dimension on that so I have it when I need it. Looks like it's gonna be 2'6". Okay, so minus 2'6" is gonna give me a stage deck for us to sit on, and the top of that will be 0, and that is gonna be our floor. The reason being that anytime I bring in another piece of furniture or anything else, I want it to be sitting on the floor, not in the floor. And so if I started here and went up, then my 0 level would intersect with anything else that I was putting in at that layer plane. So let's head back over to our theater space and play with our Polyline tool. So there's 2 ways to go about drawing a object which has a combination of lines and arches. You can draft the individual pieces and then add surface to put those pieces together. So you can use the add surface option. So I could be like, I'm going to draw this arc. Great, I'm going to draw this little weird thing. Cool, I'm going to draw a rectangle for the stage. Okay, I'm going to add all of those together as a surface. That's one way to go about it. The other option is to use the Polyline tool, and I am realizing I'm not in your workspace. Hold please. Let's pop over into the CPP workspace. There's a bunch of stuff. I was like, there's a bunch of stuff over here that I don't usually see. It's because I'm in the wrong workspace. Hold please. Ah, there we go. Okay, so fewer things, more sense. All right. Polyline tool right here. Okay. So it's the one that has a pointy part and an arc curvy part. And that's because we want to be able to do both types of things. And you'll control that up here with the various options for this drawing of a line. Okay. We're going to start out in corner vertex mode. So we're going to make rectangular bits first. Then we'll switch over into point on arc mode because I find that that is the most efficient of the ones as I'm drawing, if I'm drawing continuously like this, and then I'll go back into this corner vertex mode once I'm done. So we'll start here with this corner vertex mode. I'm going to pick and snap to all of these spots until I get to this, which is an arc. Now I switch over and I say, hey, please, can I have this point on vertex mode? It's going to work out great for me because I can snap to that midpoint. I can snap to the end of that arc. I can switch back and keep drafting along, okay, until I have the whole stage traced. And when I get back where I started, it fills, okay? And that's useful because then I can tell what stuff I've done, okay? This, I remember I'm going to make this the stage deck, so I'm going to extrude it in the minus direction, 2'6". So now I have, let's see if flyover is going to come up for me. There we go. So now I have a stage deck. The floor is at 0. The stage itself sinks down below 0, okay? And you can see that because the walls end, and then the stage is below that. But that's cool. We'll work with that, okay? We can adjust our walls so that they're taller, especially because there are these sections where there will be a gap. But for now, let's call that good enough. I'm going to go back into top plan view. So the next puzzle is, how does the rest of this theater lay out? The number one thing to remember is that this floor of the stage is actually the same height as this whole section of the house. That is a secret that you know from a site visit. So I am telling it to you now. So now you know. Okay. You're going to trace all of these individual shapes. Okay. I would just pick a line of these double lines as your line because those are railings and edges. Okay. Um, and we just trace them away until we have all of the possible layers. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and figure out how we set those heights, although that's really a thing you can do on your own. But let's practice with the Polyline tool one time on this level that is the same height. Oh, so here's the thing, right? I accidentally clicked while I still had the wrong tool. So I can just delete once and it will step backwards one step. Okay, that's super useful so that you don't have to start over completely. If you delete, it'll just delete that last point that you drafted and it'll leave you alone. So that's a super helpful tip. Boom. Okay, fun time, right? Um, I'm going to now go away, draft all of these layers for you, and then you can use your section view to try and figure out what height each of them will be. Um, and we'll go from there.